The Caregiver Club's mission is to help those with Alzheimer's and dementia by supporting the caregiver. I spoke with one member of the club about what this nonprofit means to her. Take a look.
Congratulations, you have been chosen for our Caregiver Respite Initiative Award, and there was a check, in the fold of the letter, and I was just so shocked, It
all started with one simple social media post. That's when Gloria Day discovered the Caregiver Club. Throughout the year, the Caregiver Club accepts nominations for the Caregiver Respite Initiative. The initiative helps refresh and uplift caregivers' mental and emotional health with a gift meant just for them. After being selected, Gloria found a check in the mail.
Just felt it was such a blessing, it was right on time. And yeah, just things like that don't really happen a lot, How you feeling today, Mom?
I'm okay.
You okay? All right. Okay.
Gloria is the primary caregiver for her mother, Maxine. She explains in the role it is challenging to think of you.
You've stepped into this new role of thinking about everyone else besides you, It's already a hard thing to do, but now it's become like your 9 to 5, right? Is mom okay? Or whoever you're caring for, are they okay? And then if time permits, then it's like, okay, let me make sure that I have a great meal or I get some sleep.
For Gloria, the Caregiver Club was a way for her to see, here in her own community, she is not alone.
And I really started to believe that, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Upon receiving the check, caregivers are encouraged to use the money for themselves, despite how tempting it is to spend on bills. She shares she used it for a couple days for her mother's adult daycare sessions, so she could have some time to herself. She also used it for an oil change, so her car was in shape for her and her mom to road trip to see family. Still, the cause goes beyond the check too.
Beyond the money, it's a moment where you feel seen, It just makes you kind of just stop and appreciate what other people are doing, and other people are thinking about caregivers. But yeah, we're gonna get Amaya from school in a little bit here.
The club is also a community to come to when she needs it. A community that reminds her that her and her mother can experience this life together.
They encourage doing life with your care recipient. I know respite is very important. It's important to take time for yourself, but I think one of the things that I was forgetting was to do life with mom.
All right, you can find further information about the Caregiver Club right there on your screen. The email nominations are now open for the May 31st, 2023 cycle for that respite initiative. And stay tuned because the founders of the Caregiver Club are joining us in our Show Me studio with ways you can help support their mission after the break. The Caregiver Club Foundation is a nonprofit whose mission is to help those with Alzheimer's and dementia by supporting the caregiver. Earlier in the show, you met one of the caregivers who has benefited from their services, Gloria, but their work would not be possible without the support of the community, of course. So here to share more on how you can help are co-founders Alicia Christopher and Jody Finney. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So we gave a little glimpse of the Caregiver Club and what you all do, but why don't we just start with how you first started?
Yes, so we're first cousins, and we were together carving pumpkins. And Alicia's dad has frontal temporal dementia and my mom has Alzheimer's. And she basically approached me and said, I have these little cards that have been so helpful out in the community with my dad.
Yes.
Yeah, it just made it so much easier when I went out in public and people understood what I was going through. Then the compassion just came back after they read the card and came back to help me.
Of course, because it is that card and it says, please be patient, right?
Yes,
I'm a caregiver.
Exactly.
And it's so funny when I read that's how you started. I'm from Indianapolis and her mom had Alzheimer's and she had just talked to me about how that was the one thing I wish I had. I wish I had something where you're in public and you can explain it with just a card.
You can tell your story quickly without telling your story.
Exactly. So how beautiful that that's now here in St. Louis and that's what you're doing. But of course, beyond that, you're supporting caregivers in other ways too. Why don't we just chat a little bit about that respite initiative?
Yeah, so our respite initiative, it is both local and national, and we send respite funding everywhere from in St. Louis to across the country. We've gone to Hawaii, to Minneapolis, to California, to St. Louis. So it's a really way to support the caregivers, show that they are being seen, validate them, and really allow them to kind of reset their mental health and their well-being, because caregiver burnout is very, very real.
Yes.
And being a dementia caregiver is a 24/7 job.
Yes.
And so this is for them to really recharge their batteries so that they can go back out to caregiving for their loved one, you know, feeling refreshed and feeling really loved and validated. So it gives kind of both parties the boost that they need.
And Jody, I'm glad you mentioned that you do reach people beyond the region too, right? Which just shows how remarkable this mission is.
Yeah, our last caregiver respite initiative we sent to 17 different states.
Wow, because it's that important, the caregiver role, and Gloria talked a lot about it, just how hard it is as a caregiver to sometimes forget yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And so that is so beautiful. And right now on the screen, we have it pulled up here. There's a fundraiser coming up. So why don't we talk about what's happening this Friday?
Yes, so we are so excited to have our very first fundraiser. It's going to be Friday from 6:30 to 9:30. Tickets are still available until tomorrow. So go to our website, thecaregiverclub.org. And you can register for our event. It'll be down at 18 Rails in the St. Louis Foundry. So we are just so excited to celebrate caregivers. Yep.
Wonderful. And just to reiterate the importance of this funding, that's where people's generosity is really how you can carry out your mission.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It supports our respite initiative and our caregiver companion outings here in St. Louis.
Okay. And we didn't even talk about the outings. Gloria mentioned her and Maxine went to the zoo.
Yes.
Which you do that as well, just experiencing life together.
Yeah, so those are just local programs. So St. Louis-based companies, we partner with them, we underwrite the whole event. They are free for caregivers and their loved ones with dementia. And all you have to do is register online. We have our next one coming up at Grants Farm. So it's really a way to support the city and the St. Louis caregivers. And they're fun. They're a lot of fun to be out, and they're just
You're with
wonderful.
people on the same journey.
Yes,
And you don't have
yes.
to be worried or anxious because everybody knows what's happening. And
Yeah, no explanations necessary,
Exactly.
right? Just being able
come
to
have
enjoy
fun
time.
and get out.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What a wonderful organization you are, just doing remarkable work in the community and beyond. All that information, again, that's going to be this Friday, May 5th. Show your support at 18 Rails. Find further information at thecaregiverclub.org. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you
for having
so
us.
much for having us.